Hey guys, welcome back. I picked up another 19-inch TV today on my way home from work. I paid 50 bucks for it. Hopefully it's a tube I can use. Really nice picture, obviously. There's no screen burn. I want to open it up and do some yoke readings, and I want to look at the chassis on here too. I don't even know what brand this thing is. I have no idea. But let's get it opened up. Take a look at it. I'm going to just set it down on its face. You know, I saw Arcade Jason years ago, probably at least 5 years ago, maybe even longer. He had taken one of these TVs. I don't know if it was a 19 or a 13. Might have been a 13-inch. And he actually hacked into the circuit board that is in the TV itself, okay? And he was able to, where's my drill? He was able to use the TV circuit board and use it on an arcade machine. And I can't find my drill. There it is. And I always wanted to try it, and I never did. I'm curious to see what circuit board's in this one. I think I remember how he did it. I don't know where the screws are at on this thing. Looks like there's only 4 maybe. This is a 2004. It's a Dura brand. No idea. Never heard of it. But from 2004, I mean, it's fairly new in the CRT world. Okay. I'll bet you this is the same board that he hacked and did that to. That would be really cool to try to do it and see if it works. But let's do a couple yoke readings real quick. That's a weird yoke connector. It's got 2 pegs on it. I didn't bring out my other multimeter yet because I was still figuring out that new one. I'm going to guess that this is a K7000 chassis compatible tube. And I did just get another one in the mail the other day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, 7 pin. My guess is it is a K7000. And the last tube swap that I did, and I put a K7000 on it, I had mentioned in the video that I'm looking for it here. I'm looking for it. Where the hell did I put it? I don't know where I put the circuit board. I don't know. I'll look for it in a minute. But I want to read these yoke readings real quick here. So we have red and blue. Actually, 3.9 is a little on the high side. And 12.6, yep, K7000 chassis will work. Give me a couple minutes here. I'm gonna look for the other chassis and stuff. Okay, I found it. Okay, so this is the identical, pretty much identical chassis except for the flybacks on the opposite side. So somebody had sent me a message and said, this cutout is actually the neck board. So when they print this circuit board, they print the neck board on here and then cut it out or pop it out with these couple tabs. And then that's the neck board to go up there. So if I remember correctly, on Jason's video that he made years ago, he hacked into this chip and he got red, green, and blue off of it. And I kind of want to play around and see. This is a different looking circuit board, I believe, though, than what he used. I don't remember. Like I said, it's been a long time, but I do need to see if the TV will power on by itself. If I'm gonna try this hack, because I'm just curious is if that works, why don't people try that, you know? Okay, so let's power it on. Uh-oh, why do we got a little red dot in the middle? Is it because there's no signal, or is it messed up? Huh. That's not right. Turn this. Let's just see if it turns back on. Okay, so this one does not self-power on, I don't think. No. Now, let's see if... Is this thing even on? What's going on here? Oh, I'm an idiot, guys. I didn't plug the yoke back in. Hopefully that didn't screw anything up. Well, you know what? It screws the chassis up. Oh well. I don't think that's going to hurt the tube. So let's turn it back on again. Yeah, I might have messed the chassis up. That's all right. I wanted to just see, though. I wanted to try it, but obviously we're... Oh, maybe it's going to come on. I think I just heard it click on. Okay, there we go. I didn't break it. Okay, it's currently on. Let's unplug it and see if it powers back on by itself. But when you unplug it, you got to let it sit for a couple seconds. You can't just go unplug it and plug it right back in, because then you still have energy stored in there and it might turn back on by itself. All right, let's see if it turns on by itself. No, it does not. Okay, that's a big thing that you have to, in order to hack the board, to get to use the TV board as your chassis of your arcade monitor, it has to self-power on, because if it doesn't, that's a big problem. So, could we solder the power button to where it's always on? What happens when I do that? Does it boot up? Yes. So let's unplug it. I'm going to keep holding this thing in as if I took the two wires, terminals, whatever you want to call them, and I soldered them to each other. So I got to keep holding it. Just waiting for some energy to drain out of the tube. Capacitors, whatever. It turns on. Okay, now the downfall is, well, maybe menu, volume. How do I get into menu? Okay, let's go down to picture. I guess I went the wrong way. How do I go back? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Well, let's get out of here. Let's try something else real quick. Let's try powering it on, holding the power button down as if it's soldered together. Let's see if it'll let me go into the menu, which I'm thinking it probably will not. Okay, so that could pose a problem, because if I were to take this chassis and convert it to work, if I can, off of a signal from a JAMA board or whatever kind of board I choose, you most likely would need to get into the menu and adjust your picture size. But in theory, you probably could get in there and adjust your picture size before you soldered that. But I don't know that it would stay or not. So let's go down and see if it goes down to picture. Then I have to hit enter. Okay, that's brightness. Shoot, waited too long. Enter. Contrast, color, tint, sharpness, brightness. Okay, so there's nothing in that menu to adjust the screen size. And I highly doubt there's any pots on the chassis to do adjustments like vertical and horizontal. Channel setup, what is V-chip? Don't know what that's something to do with the password. We don't want that. All right, we don't want that. Get out of here. There might not be adjustments. That's okay. I mean, yeah, there's no adjustments for that. So not having adjustments means that you would have to, if you hacked into this chassis and your picture was too tall, you would have to go into these yoke wires and put a resistor in there. Okay, and what the resistor would do would be it would draw the picture down or larger depending on what size resistor you put in there. Yeah, I don't see any pots for adjustment as far as that goes. And is this screwed in? Or is it clipped in? Clips. Okay. I don't think I broke it, but maybe. Might have. Did I break it? That's power. Okay. No, I don't think I broke it. Just didn't sound good when I frickin' pulled it out. Yeah, I don't see any pots for adjustment on here. And the width coil does not have any adjustments either. It is a wound width coil that, you know, they add windings to either make the image larger or take away windings to make it smaller, if I remember correctly. Now, I'm pretty positive that these type of monitors discharge themselves because that's how this newer stuff is. I'm just going to be careful with it. I'm going to get rid of the speaker because I'm going to more than likely put a K7000 chassis on here, which it just came in the mail. I haven't even opened it to look at it, to be honest with you. So you have this chip right here, okay? There's this big rectangular chip, and coming off of this chip is going to have red, green, and blue, and that's what you need to grab, and you need to solder to get red, green, and blue. I don't have my discharging tool out here. We can make one real quick. We'll make a makeshift one real quick. Let me grab some wire. I mean, the one in the house is a makeshift one too. It's just, I just made it with a screwdriver and some wire. I should put an alligator clip at the end of mine in the house because I don't use that screwdriver for anything else other than discharging monitors. So I got this super long screwdriver here, and I'm willing to bet that it's probably going to be dead. Don't have any electrical tape over here, so we'll use some masking tape. Whatever it takes to hold it onto the shaft. And don't really have a frame to ground it to. And, well, you know what? We could go to the outer metal tabs. Are there wire? Yeah, the wire. We can connect to this, I believe. I don't think it matters. Maybe just for safety purposes, I'll disconnect it from the neck. So we just put it around this wire here. I'm going to say there's going to be no charge. I could be very wrong. It had a charge. I thought for sure that this thing would have automatically discharged itself. No, I did not shock myself. I hit myself with the damn screwdriver. Jabbed myself with something. Piece of metal or something went into my thumb. Okay, well, it actually held a charge. I was surprised by that. All right. Whoa, that's not good. Forgot I'm on a metal table here. A little arcing, a little discharging of chips, or you know, I can't really take this apart to do this test. It's got to be connected. We'd have to figure out which of these terminals or which of these leads off of here would be red, green, and blue. And I don't know that I can look the chip up because I don't know that I can read it. It's an Orion. You always forget about this metal table here. I do that to myself all the time. That's why you'll see me put a towel down, but I just forgot and didn't have a towel down. And that probably could bite me in the ass at some point if I mean, you never know, as far as like ruining something on a chassis. The reason why, if you could find like a pinout for this, you could find which three are red, green, blue. But unfortunately, I can't read the writing on it. All right, so can't do that. I'm looking to see if maybe I could tell. Sound amp. Seeing if by chance anything's labeled on here. We didn't blow the fuse or anything, so that's good. I don't care about this chassis, guys. It's not a big deal. I'm going to use the tube and I'm going to put the K7000 on it. Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing. Thought maybe I'd get lucky and it would say, you know, RGB or something. Video out. The hell's that? Interesting. That's a plug for something. Obviously not used on this model. Is this plugged? Yeah, it's plugged in. Damn, my fucking thumb. I did that last week. I got a piece of wood stuck in my thumb. Now it feels like I got a piece of metal stuck in my thumb. Must have been on the side of the screwdriver. Well, what we could do is, danger, something voltage, mains voltage, M-A-I-N-S. Probably that big capacitor, that's probably what was sparking. It was releasing the energy out of it. Yeah, I know it's got power. I just arced it on my stainless table. So what we could do is power it back on, maybe turn the monitor TV on its side or something so I can get to this. And we can ground out the pins and see if we get different colors. Maybe it was on the other chassis. I thought I saw. I know this is probably boring, but this is, I don't know, something fun. I'd think. See, I see like these 3 tabs here. What is that? No, there's nothing up there. I'll bet you this chassis would work on this tube. No reason why it wouldn't. It's the same, almost identical. And it had the same yoke reading that this chassis was plugged into as that. And this has the same chip on the same angle. Just everything's kind of reversed. I mean, let's try it. What's the worst can happen? Blow up the chassis? Who gives a shit? Just got to try not to shock myself, though, because that is a possibility. So how can I get to this chip? How can I do this? Shit. Well, I just blew the fuse. Still has a charge on it. Well, there goes the fuse. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot, guys. Don't do what I do. It was plugged in still. Ay. One of those days. I'm like that guy. You ever see that guy on Facebook and YouTube that like intentionally shocks himself and stuff? That's pretty much me right now. I'm pretty much that idiot. I do the smart thing and put this towel down. So that's what was arcing, was, I don't think it was a capacitor, I think the freaking power wire, because it was still plugged into the wall. The solder joints were hitting the table. You see, in the basement, I have a wooden table, so it's not a big deal. You don't have this problem, but I gotta order another tester for the, what the hell is it called? TPG, test pattern generator. Need to order another one. Just haven't done it because I haven't needed anything else to place an order yet. Hopefully there's no charge in that anymore. Nope, there's not. So I just haven't placed it. I haven't done an order yet because I didn't want to just order that. I figured I'd order some other things on with it. Okay. So how can I do this? And no, I'm not editing out that I blew the fuse or anything because I don't really care. Did that fuse just blow? Oh wait, power button's over here because the thing's out. I'll bet you that the fuse blew because it's the wrong size value fuse. I gotta grab a fuse. Crap. I don't know what size I blew. Let me see here. This is a 4 amp. what did I stick in here? So this other chassis must have had a smaller fuse, or I screwed this chassis up. And if that's the case, then obviously we're not going to get to try what I wanted to try. This one's got corrosion on it. I can't read it. What the fuck? Does it not say? It says 125 volts. I think it was a 4 amp. And if that's the case, the chassis is messed up. Okay. So thinking. Well, looks like we're not gonna be able to do the test. Yeah, because clearly must have shorted something out when I did that. You know, because 120 volts from the wall went through the board probably and screwed it up. Oh well. All right, well, I'm gonna go in the house and open up that K7000 and let's go take a look at it. Let's go in the basement. I know you guys are probably bored of these videos, but I kind of enjoy them lately. It's something different, you know. And let's get it out. And when I'm getting another tube tomorrow for free, but it might be an older TV, so it might not be possible to do that, but maybe we can. But I'll make sure I unplug it from the wall when I do that. Because clearly, yeah, that's dead because it never re-energized. Okay. All right, so yeah, let's go run in the basement. Let's open up that K7000 that came from eBay the other day. I paid 50 bucks for it, 50 bucks for the TV. So if I get it working, it's gonna be $100. Well, I'm probably gonna have to change the flyback because you know damn well the flyback's probably gonna be cracked. But anyways, you know, I might have 150 bucks into it, but I will have another burn-free monitor. So, I mean, how can you really go wrong for $150 to have a burn-free monitor nowadays? I probably could take this chassis and put it on this tube. I know I can, but I already cut the power wire and stuff, and I just don't care that much on this. Hell with it. All right, let's open this box up. Clean up a little bit here. Gotta get back on Arabian tomorrow. I have to work again, but after work, I want to get on the Arabian. Maybe we can get that powered up. That would be really, really nice. So like I said, I have not opened this yet. Also, before we look at that, this came, I paid 50 bucks for this. Can't open the box, so that's good. Oh, it's upside down. All right. I paid 50 bucks for this. This is a 360-degree joystick, okay? So what I'm thinking about is using this for my Berserk, okay? Because I can't find a bat stick joystick. And if I did find one, it's probably going to be $300-400, and I don't really want to spend that kind of money on it. So I asked Arcade Jason, I said, hey, can you 3D print me a bat stick? Just the top, you know, the plastic part. And I thought maybe I can use this shaft, put it in there, and lengthen this shaft by cutting the ball off, tapering this, and welding onto it, and lengthening the shaft so I can slide down a handle for it. I don't know that he's going to have time to do it. I don't know if anybody else out there 3D prints or can do that, if they have a bat stick joystick to go off of. That would be awesome. But yeah, this came in the original box with the original Whitco paperwork here. So they call this a, I believe it's called a 4-way, 8-way heavy-duty assembly. But no, this is the wrong instructions. Okay, so this is the wrong box for this joystick, because this is 2-way, 4-way, or 8-way. It doesn't say anything about 360. So this is not the correct paperwork. But it is the original box for one of these style joysticks. But anyway, so this should, in theory, work just like the bat stick one did. But obviously, I don't have the bat stick. So hopefully, I can get somebody to 3D print me that. All right, so let's take a look at this K7000. Needs ISO. Trans power. Now this one has a remote board, and this is a 19-inch chassis. It is should be a 447 right here, a P447 with a remote board. It's just funny that some of them had a remote board and some didn't. God, it's a mess in here. Flyback's cracked right there along the focus. Every single one. Always. So flyback's cracked. The fuse looks all right. Let's try the new multimeter here. Let's see if the fuse is good. Fuse is good. All right, let's check our hot. I think positive's got to go on the middle tab on. Don't know why it's doing it like that. Yeah, see, I'm still not used to that yet. Don't fully understand it yet. I think the hot's blown. I don't think those two legs are supposed to beat. Maybe. This has a 2302. But I'll have to look it up. I thought it was a 1398, but I could very well be wrong. Let's search here. Uh, 2302. Darn it. 2302 transistor equivalent. A 2302 transistor could be a general purpose NPN transistor like a 2N2222 or a PN2222. Why is this freaking this B plus cap is really bowed up. Cross-reference chart. Well, I'll look that up in a couple minutes and I'll tell you what it is, if I even have one. Let's go on to this guy here. So we just got to hold our negative on here and put our, and it beeps, so that's good. Let's check our reading on this guy. .4, and that's good because it's a 15. Let's check these diodes. I don't understand why it's 23. Oh, 14.1, I believe. Is that what it is? No. I don't understand this multimeter. Why is it saying 23.8? Should be 5. See, 0.537. 0.59. 0.58. 0.53. Those are all good. But I don't understand why this does that like that. Let's try this guy here. This should be 3.9, I believe. .6. That's fine. Don't understand why it does it with the diodes. I don't know. This bothers me, that's blown up like that. This one swelled up. This one and this one are both swelled up. Do I have another one of these guys? A 56200? I think I do, but I don't think I have. Oh, it's a 2-pin. Is it a 2-pin? I think I have one. 56200. 56200. 56200. Okay, I have a new B plus cap. I should have a cap kit as well, I hope. I think the hot's bad. Oh yeah. Let's just try this real quick. Do I get a reading from right to left? Okay, it beeps. Now this is in circuit. I think that this is bad. It's hot. I'm going to say the hot is bad. See, this is reading 5.63 on that leg. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't understand the meter. Do I have it set wrong? I mean, am I something screwed up here? I don't know. I don't think the hot's bad then. So I think the hot's good. I think it needs a flyback, a cap kit, and a B plus cap. I don't really understand what this says either. It needs ISO transformer. Is that the flyback? Is a flyback an ISO? I have no idea what is an ISO transformer. I've never heard that before. What is an ISO transformer? Isolation transformer. Oh, it's saying that it needs one. Oh yeah, I always put one on it. Okay, we're talking about the isolation transformer on the cabinet. Somebody must have just wrote this on there. Maybe it was in an arcade or something for kids, you know, young guys working on stuff, and maybe they plug in chassis and blow them up. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to do a cap kit on this and change the flyback out. So I'll high speed through that. We'll knock that out. The horizontal width coil is not burned up whatsoever. This board's actually in really nice shape. This is a new flyback. This flyback has already been changed once. Could have been changed 20 years ago, but it definitely cracked right along the focus again. So let's see if I have a cap kit and a flyback, actually. I know I have a flyback. It's my last K7000 flyback. Why does it not say K7000 on the box? I must write them on there myself. Okay, that's our red wire, and this is our yep, okay. All right, I got a flyback. Do I have a cap kit? I probably could make a cap kit if I don't have one. I have tons and tons of caps. This is another width coil kit. Another width coil kit, or cap kit. Here's a width coil. K7000. Oh, I got 2 sets left. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on high speed, and we are going to knock this out. Oh, I picked up a new solder gun today. Okay, so I went online and I looked for tips. Okay, well, I can't tell exactly what tip this is. This is an old solder gun I've had for years and years. You could buy a 5-pack. They're like 10, 15 bucks on Amazon, but I don't know that it's going to fit this. Okay. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I'm going to spend $15 on Amazon for a 5-pack of tips. I went on Harbor Freight website and I looked, and you could buy a whole new solder gun station with 3 tips for $49 bucks. Or yeah, $49. And I have a membership there, so I got 20% off today. So I paid like $30 some for it. I'm like, that's a no-brainer. I might as well just get a new one. So it's in the van still, so I can't, I'm not using it right now. But I need to figure this thing out because clearly what I'm used to, readings on that, I'm not used to on here. And I don't know if I have this not set up right. I'll have to look at the instructions. I'd like to figure it out. So, all right, I'm going to put you guys on high speed, and we're going to knock out this cap kit and flyback. I'm going to pop the flyback off first so that I can get to those caps in the back corner. All right, it's recapped. The flyback is put on. I tested this. That tests okay. This chassis must have been run a lot because a lot of these capacitors that were replaced at some point in its life, they're raised. So this thing probably had a lot of hours on it. It probably ran all day in arcade. And that's probably why this says this on the back of here is when a technician probably went to fix something, you know, they told the kids, hey, you got to put a isolation transformer on this. You can't just plug it into the regular wall. Luckily, that poker cabinet out there that I've been testing all these on have an isolation transformer in there. It's funny because earlier when I'm like, what the hell is an ISO? And like, I knew what it was. Like, I've seen it a million times, but like, it just didn't register in my head. I'm like, I'm tired, and I'm just like, what does ISO mean? And then I fucking realized it. It happens. And also the reason why I know that the flyback's been replaced because the flyback I just took off that was cracked as well. It has black knobs on it. The originals had white knobs. So this has black knobs on it. And the style of this is a little bit different than these ones right here. Also, this on the K7000 chassis, the 447 model for the 19-inch tube, if it has a remote board like this one, it has a capacitor on the neck board. Okay, if they don't have a remote board, they're not going to have that capacitor right there. That's the difference between the two. So this kit, I used the whole entire kit. The last couple of K7000s didn't have a remote board, so I didn't have a cap to replace on there. So as you could tell, a lot of caps have been replaced over the years on this because they're all different makes, models, and you know, stuff like that. So it's all rebuilt. I think everything else works. Let's go put it on that tube and see what happens. I got to get some legs on here real quick so that we can mount it. Now, I was talking to Jason, and there are different style tubes. And somebody messaged me a week ago and said that Mitsubishi, or whatever the hell it's called, tube out there that I have with the real high yoke rating. He said I cannot put a different chassis on that because something's different with the tube itself. The pinout on the tube is different. So I'm going to see if I can't get a flyback for that, because I think that's all that's wrong with that is it needs a flyback because it was arcing. I actually never even looked at the flyback closely enough to look at it. Oh, you know what? I never changed the B plus cap. I had to change the B plus cap. Totally forgot about that. And this chassis, because it's the remote board chassis, I can get all 4 feet on this one. I've never seen a B plus cap swollen up like that. This is probably the first one that I've personally seen. And also, it has these weird shields on them, and I don't know what that's about. Everything else looks good as far as the solder joints. Everything looks doesn't look like anything's pulling away from the board or anything. So it looks good. Are you guys sick of monitor chassis yet? Videos? I just look at it this way. If I have the parts and I grab a tube, why not just knock it out and get it on the shelf ready to go? And when I picked up that monitor today, I knew it was going to be a K7000 chassis. By the year of it, seems like those newer tubes K7000 tends to fit on there. Oh, you know what else I found on eBay? I ordered it, $60 I paid for it. I found a chassis that's made by Philips that I don't know if it works, and I don't know if I can get parts for it, but it has dual resolution, standard and medium res Okay, if I can get that to work, I will put that on a tube and we'll put it in the Paperboy, because I use that 19-inch CRT computer monitor with a converter board. I would love to get that converter board out of there and just run a medium res monitor, if in fact that'll work. Is this not hot enough yet? Negative's going that way. Oops. Sometimes you gotta throw a little solder at it. I don't feel like turning my desolder gun back on, so we're gonna try to just, you know what? This has 4 pins, doesn't it? I don't know if it does. Maybe not. So if you just wiggle back and forth, you can get them out. Okay, so negative goes down. Now, because this has a remote board, chances are, hopefully, I won't have to screw with the width coil or possibly do a width cap. Yeah, look at the bow on that. That is bad. That is really bad. This one's not good either. I'm sure it's hard to see in the camera. This one was behind the flyback. This is bowed up as well. So this thing, if it was working, it couldn't have been working very well. Almost every single cap was screwed up on it. So, all right, let's go out there. I got to bring a frame out there with me. And we are going to install this, and fingers crossed it'll work, and we'll have another badass monitor, because it'll be a nice brand new looking tube. Okay, I'm going to kind of high speed through this, getting the tube onto the frame and mounting the chassis. I have to cut the degauss wire and the yoke wires and put different ends on them, which I have some ends right here. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Okay, now the yoke wires that I'm using, they were already cut, but I will bet you any money that the green and yellow will need to be switched. I don't know why, but that just seems to be how these ones work. Now, if you're wondering, how do I know which side the red and green go, or the red and blue go on? Could it go on the green and yellow side? No, it cannot. The blue and red are farther apart. Now, if you have all 4 of them unplugged, yes, you could definitely put it on the wrong terminal, and it'll screw something up. Okay, so we have our yoke wires plugged in. We have our degauss. We have our anode cup. We have our ground to our neck board. We got our neck board on. We have the wire going to the flyback from the neck board. We have the other wire. Oh, if you were wondering earlier, I soldered that wire into the neck board, onto the connector, because on these, for some dumb reason, on these remote board ones, the wire just slides in there and clips and holds in place. It doesn't get soldered inside of the connector, and I don't like that, so I reamed it out with a screwdriver and actually soldered the red wire to the terminal inside of there. I just don't like that. It bothers me. I don't like this either, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's just get this thing hooked up and see if it works. Let me get it over to the stool. I have those 4 other monitors in my van. I got to take them out. Hoping this works, because it'll make another one. Yeah, get rid of that tube still. All right. Now, I'm not sure if both sync wires need to be tied together or not until we fire it up. We're plugged in. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this chassis even works. To be honest with you, we don't even know. Still might be something else wrong with it. Hopefully not. I heard static. Flyback's probably all the way down. There it is. There she is. Man, that width is really, really narrow. Man, this doesn't have a width size. Shit. Doesn't that suck? It has a vertical size. Back to playing with width caps. Yay! My favorite. Vertical hold. Vertical position. Oh, that sucks. That pot is super tight. There we go. Shit, that sucks. That picture looks freaking amazing, but we're gonna have to take it apart, change the width caps, because I know damn well this width coil is not gonna spin. Actually, it's up all the way. I think it's gotta go down. Turn it off and see if we can maybe possibly somehow in this world get lucky enough to spin that down. If I could find the Allen key. Where are you at, Mr. Allen key? Here it is. Nobody's yelled at me yet for using a metal Allen key. Surprised. It is moving. It is moving. I turned it like 10 times. It's probably gonna need a width cap. I'm pretty much gonna bet on it. Yep, it's gotten a lot wider. Don't know how much more we can get out of it, but we'll try. The colors even look good. I haven't even touched the colors. That's pretty much bottomed out there. Yep, need a width cap. Yay! Well, walk up to the house and get a width cap. And we got a little funky going on up there. Is there a adjustment? Oh, you know what? There are other adjustments on here. There's only a horizontal hold, which that might need a little bit of adjustment because of the way the top's squiggly. Well, that's position maybe. No. What the hell is that? I can't see. There we go. Okay, got rid of that squiggly line up top. So that looks better. And unfortunately, there is no... I thought these ones had a width adjustment on these remote boards, but I kept mistaken. Black level, contrast, each position. Looks like our blue is a little bit high. Looks like we're getting a little bit of bleeding on the blue. Red cut off, green, blue should be over here. Where's my little handy dandy screwdriver? Whoa, super blue. Man, that looks freaking amazing. All right, let me go get some width caps. Even the convergence looks good. You know what I was thinking? Is do you guys think, because that says isolation transformer, that you need one? Do you think that that note was made for Joe? Here, Mr. Joe. We're gonna frame this. I should frame this and put it in the arcade. It'd be hilarious. All right, let me go grab some width caps. I'm gonna turn this off. Oh yeah, I lost the bet with myself. I did not have to redo the yellow and green. I thought for sure it was gonna be wrong. Where is my solder? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna, I'm gonna hang the goals for Joe in my arcade. I'm gonna get a little picture frame and put that card in there. It'll be funny. Joe's gonna live on forever. Okay, so we gotta change this width cap. This guy right here. C38. And pop this one out. We're gonna go down quite a few sizes because that width coil moves. So we can always just, you know, bring that width coil back up. Now the funny thing is on these remote board ones, the back's labeled. It tells you what capacitors and everything are where. On the other ones, they don't do that. Oh, that wrong one. All right, here's our width cap. I forgot what size these are. 394. Thought it was bigger than that. Maybe I'm wrong. You can also change the width by cutting your yoke wires. If you want to cut your yoke wire and put a bigger or smaller resistor in line, that will also change the width of your monitor. If you're like in a jam, you don't have this kit, and you need to, I don't know, make your monitor look wider, you can definitely do that. 394. 394. We're going to go down to 224. 224. And we want the, I think the 630 volt. Or no, we don't. We want the 200 volt. So we want the 224, 250 volt. 224, 250. J630. 224J250 right here. And I always put the writing that way because that's how I take them out. I don't think it matters. Pretty confident it doesn't, but better be safe than sorry. And I'm actually going to use the pad, a different pad. So I'm going to use the pad that's closer here that I unsoldered first, because that width cap is so small. We'll just close this hole up. It doesn't matter, but all right. So hopefully now we should have proper width. So basically we got a $50 chassis, $30 flyback, so that's $80, and a cap kit. So we're gonna say we have $100 in the chassis with parts and $50 in the tube. $150, and we got a badass looking monitor. So I don't really think you can, this day and age, I don't really think you can go wrong. Sorry, you guys are looking at the ceiling or something, I don't even know. There's so much shit in my way. Tomorrow I'm probably gonna clean out here when I get home from work for a little bit. But for $150 nowadays to have a burn-free CRT monitor, I think that's doing pretty good. Fortunately, everything's just so damn expensive now that it's just kind of how it is. Now remember, on yoke wires, you can take your red and blue and reverse them. You can take your yellow and green and reverse them. You can never take your yellow and green and put them on the red and blue. If you do that, you're going to blow up something. What are you going to blow up? I don't know. I don't know what would happen, but I know it probably would not be good. Damn it. There we go. Where's my fourth screw at? I lost the screw. How convenient. This cabinet I picked up yesterday was in the basement by the washer and dryer, and I keep walking by it and I smell fabric softener. Maybe if they would have had fabric softener on that cabinet when Joe was working for them, maybe he'd have been a little nicer. Okay, hook our signal back up. All right, let's see what we got here. Anode cup, degauss, yoke, ground with the cap on it. I think we're good. Power. All right. How wide's it gonna be now? Oh boy, that didn't work too well. Didn't get wider. Damn it, Joe. What did you do? What did you do? It does not like that cap at all. Interesting. Well, that really sucks. That did absolutely nothing. Okay. So out it comes. Round two. Let me see something here real quick. Yeah. I think maybe I had the width cap down too far. But we still have a scrambled screen at the top there. Let me turn it off and spin it up. A K7000 monitor discharges the anode cup. And I can show you that. But don't ever take the chance, just discharge it. Nope. Definitely did not work. Awesome. All right, taking it back out. I'm gonna just change to a different capacitor off camera. Well, I went down to the smallest width cap. See, with these width coils, sometimes if you spin them down too far, it will and actually start making the picture smaller again. And I think that's kind of what I did. But if this smallest cap works, then I'll know from now on, pretty much all these just need the small cap. .104J, I believe it is. Gotta get these poker cabinets out of here. Need to build myself a little test bench in the basement with like a little 60-in-1 board or something. I mean, I could get another TPG, but I don't know that I'm going to or not. Not sure yet. I might just make a thing with a 60-in-1 or something. Might be a little bit more practical. Probably be cheaper. Those damn boards are like, or those testers like 80, 100 bucks now. All right, just about hooked up here. Hopefully this works. It almost makes me wonder if tying the sinks together makes a difference or not. Could. All right. Power it up and see what happens. Oh. Ooh. Come on. Still a little small. Well, it needs shifted over. The top's looking better. I still have to adjust the top, but it's definitely better. H position. Look at that, guys. Look at that. That is almost freaking perfect. And I just guessed on the width coil. Looks like our vertical height is pretty good. Let's move it a little bit over to the left. Other left. Other left. What are you doing here? Quit screwing around, Joe. There we go. All right. Vertical size, we can go up a hair. Look at that, the top fixed itself. There it is, guys. That is bad ass. Ugh. Another successful tube swap. I don't even know if you call it a tube swap or you just call it taking a tube from a TV and turning it into an arcade monitor. We didn't really, I guess maybe a tube swap would be considered just the tube itself and maybe not the yoke. I don't know. But it looks awesome. I'm very, very happy with it. I'm going to put another piece of tape on this one and label it as perfect. Looks perfect because it really honestly does. And I am going to eat something, upload this video, and in a little while I'm going to go play Solar Fox. And we're also going to open a couple boxes that came from Gary, which I have no clue what he sent me, other than I know he did send me a 4900 chassis. So this is a K7000. Perfect picture. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for. So thanks for watching, guys. That's going to end this video. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on Arabian. But I'm picking up that TV tomorrow afternoon on my way home from work. So I will, we'll take the cover off of it and just do a yoke reading on the TV and see what it's all about. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll do 2 videos tomorrow. If it's maybe something I can hack and we could try what I wanted to try on this one until I decided to arc it and blow it out on the stainless table over there. I probably should just get a piece of cardboard and set it on there. Then I wouldn't have these issues. But I'm kind of hard-headed sometimes, and I don't think. But anyways, just showing you guys, it's possible. Basically, it seems to me, don't quote me on it, but it seems to me these tubes from the early 2000s, when they quit making them, you know, the last couple of years up to like 2005, I think, maybe even 6, is when they quit making these. It seems like all these tubes handle a K7000 chassis. Now the problem is how many K7000 chassis are actually out there to do this with. You know what I mean? So that's something you got to keep in mind too. But, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to trying one of those universal chassis either. I know they're garbage, but who knows? I mean, they might. I did one years ago on a 25-inch TV on a shooting game, and that thing ran for years without an issue. It ran hot, don't get me wrong. It generated a lot of heat off of that chassis, but it worked. I mean, and back then they were like 30 bucks, 25, 30 bucks. Nowadays, they're 50, 60 bucks. So you're obviously better off finding a real chassis if possible. I don't think there's any other chassis out there that would work on this yoke reading. G07 would probably be the next closest, and it might work on there. Let me look that up real quick before I end this video. I think G07's got to be close to that reading. Might have a picture of it. Photos. Do I have yoke readings in here? Yes, I do. Okay, so it would be a stretch for a 4600 because a 4600 requires 2.7 and 8.3. That's 2.9, 3.0, somewhere in that area, and 12. 4900 could not use. I wonder if you can use a 13-inch chassis, a K7201, and change the width cap. I wonder if that would work. That I don't know. That's a guess. It's the right ohm reading, the right readings. They make a K1000, which would not work. It's only 5.6 vertical. G07, no, I was wrong. G07's way up there. It's 54.5 on vertical and 2.6 on horizontal. Sanyo EZ20 is 2 and 55. Neotech 2701 is 8.1 and an 05 for horizontal. Namco KZ20EN, I don't even know what that is. It's a 51 vertical and 21. So basically, I mean, K7000, they're saying 1.7 and 7.4, but I've gone up to like 13 on vertical and it's never been a problem. Now, maybe that could be why my horizontal is not as wide as it needs to be, because this is saying 1.7 horizontal, okay? And I'm putting it on a tube with 2.9 to 3. So that could be why I'm always having to change these width caps, because it's a little off in tolerance that way. And that very well is probably what it is, which I don't see it being a problem. I mean, it clearly is running on it just fine. It just makes the picture narrower. So basically, I'm going to say that's why I keep getting narrow pictures with the K7000 with these tube swaps from a TV, is that's the problem. So curious to see what the yoke reading is going to be tomorrow on tomorrow's tube. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be a higher yoke reading and I can use a 4900 chassis. That would be pretty cool. But all right, guys, I'm going to end this video. Let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys later when I play Solar Fox. Thanks for watching, guys.